Welcome, Dr. Crystal Wright. She is the Associate Professor at MD Anderson Cancer Center and is the current chair of the Professional Diversity Committee for the American Society of Anesthesiologists. Welcome, and it's a pleasure to have you here today.
Hello, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me. I look forward to the conversation.
For those of us who may not know you very well, can you please give us a brief summary about yourself?
Sure. So I am originally from Lafayette, Louisiana, and I migrated here to Houston, Texas for training for medical school and residency, and sort of stayed after training in medicine. Never left. Got a pair of cowboy boots, and now I am a Texan. So I am here in Houston, Texas. I practice anesthesiology at MD Anderson Cancer Center. I've been at MD Anderson for 4.5 years now. Originally, after finishing my fellowship in cardiac anesthesia, I stayed on as faculty at Baylor College of Medicine, and I did that for 10 years, and then transitioned over to MD Anderson, which is where I am now. And there I practiced general anesthesia and taking care of cancer patients. And my interests outside of my clinical practice include my involvement in organized medicine and within the American Society of Anesthesiologists, as well as the Texas Society of Anesthesiologists. I'm on the board for the ASA and chair of the Committee on Professional Diversity, and I am president-elect this year for the Texas Society of Anesthesiologists. I am married to a wonderful husband. We've been married for 21 years, and we have 2 boys that take up just about all of our time, but they're wonderful.
You're very busy, very accomplished. Thank you for that. What has been important interaction that you had with a mentor?
Oh gosh, so many. I have, several different mentors that have mentored me in different phases of my career. I've had one, lifelong, I would say career-long mentor, which is a true blessing to have had someone that started with me as a mentor, during residency, and it's still with me today. And, having that, because I believe with mentorship, it truly is about a relationship between a mentor and a mentee. Having served as a mentor when I was doing officially as a mentor when I was doing medical education at Baylor College of Medicine, and having mentored several individuals along the way more recently, and having been a mentee myself, I've realized that it truly is about that relationship that you develop with another individual, because as you develop that relationship with another individual, that mentee begins to become vulnerable with a mentor, and that vulnerability is truly where the mentor starts to understand you, starts to become aware of how you think, what is important to you, what your values are. And once that mentor sort of understands that, it's very easy for that mentor to take their life experiences and their understanding of who you are and guide you along the path and guide you along in different directions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's wonderful that you've had the opportunity to have so many mentors. It's not actually a very common for people to have several mentors. So that's wonderful. What's the best advice you ever received from a mentor?
Well, my first mentor has been or is my mother, right? So she's the first person that I have to say that was able to teach me the benefits of mentorship. Maybe with her, it might have been one directional, but but she's great. She's still my number one mentor. But for me, during my career, the best advice that I have received from a mentor has been about being flexible, and being flexible in the stages of my career. I say that because I think that oftentimes we come into phases of our career or at least for myself, let me speak for myself. I was pretty, rigid on where I thought early in my career on how I thought things should go. And during that learning phase early in my career, my mentor was extremely helpful in removing that rigidity from my perception of what I thought my career should be. She was extremely instrumental in helping me to recognize the importance of flexibility, especially being a female, and I think wearing all the hats that we wear as we sort of matriculate through our career. That flexibility is so important. And she was very deliberate, I believe, in helping me recognize that when I sort of went to her for when I was sort of at forks in the road and needed to figure out where I needed to go, which has helped me even now to, as a leader, as someone that's involved, is to go back to that element of flexibility.
Networking is an important aspect for our careers as well, and it's not really talked about all the time. So how has networking helped you?
Right. When we think about networking, the term, I think I think it sort of like makes doctors sort of like, step back and think, well, wait a minute, I'm not, in business. I don't need to network. Looking at networking from the perspective of building relationships is important. And because it's through the building of relationships that we display ourselves to other people. And as anesthesiologists, we build relationships quickly every single day. The environment in an operating room are the interactions that you have with surgeons, are with other staff in the operating room. As you are building those relationships, that's networking. And we don't perceive it as such, and it doesn't necessarily need to have the same connotation of what you think networking may mean in a business environment, but it's all the same. And as we start to internalize it as such, then we can start to process the importance of building relationships, because it's through building those relationships that we start to build trust. And it's through the building of that trust that we can start to collaborate with people. And then individuals can learn who you are, what your interests are, what might be a good fit for you. And that is how, when opportunities become available, they can rely on the relationships that they may have built, and can reach out to you in order to help you, in order to be that sponsor that you need to further your academic or professional or medical career along. So networking equals relationship building. And I believe that that is critical to your career. And it's important to recognize that you're doing it, whether you realize it or not. You're doing it.
I agree, and I think that a lot of us, as you mentioned, shy away from networking because it's so seems like a car salesman or something. But
Right.
but it's important because that's how you meet other people from other institutions. You learn from other people, other ways of doing things, or how other places do things, and also it helps with gaining opportunities for research or whatever it is you're interested in, advocacy, medical education, and so forth. So I agree with you totally. And I wish I would have recognized that probably sooner than I have for myself. So
it's never too late. Thank you so much for this. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
take care. Bye.
Bye bye.